Hi, this is Sarah.
And this is Rachel.
And this is the Rippah Diaries, a podcast where we rip apart, episode by episode, the Vampire Diaries. Warning, this is a rewatch podcast, so there are definitely spoilers ahead.
This week, we're talking about Season 1, Episode 18, Under Control. In this episode, we see Stefan does not have it under control. He is spiraling from the bloodlust. Mm-hmm. There's also the Founders Day kickoff party, starting all of the Founders Day events, of course. That's this week's event. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we get some Jeremy and Elena scenes, some nice things like that. But the main thing is Stefan is losing control.
Yeah. The name of the episode is Stefan.
Yes.
And that's right where we kick off the episode is Stefan is aggressively stress working out.
Yes, always a great sign when a man is furiously doing push-ups.
and pull-ups on those like ceiling beams or whatever. And so then Damon comes upstairs and he's basically trying to get him to drink out of a blood bag. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it's actually a pretty good argument from Damon in this scene. He's like, you don't even have to kill anybody. Like, it literally doesn't hurt anyone to drink from a blood bag. The only argument I could see in Stefan's favor here is like, I mean, you're stealing blood from someone who might potentially need it, but theoretically it's like the way to go in terms of not hurting someone. But Stefan's all like, I have my reasons, I can't do it. But he doesn't say those reasons.
He does not say those reasons, and this is something I've wondered but have not really kept a close eye on, that I'm going to make myself this time when we rewatch. Does Damon not know that Stefan is a Ripper? I get so confused. Like, or is it more he's writing it off, he thinks it could be manageable?
I think he knows, but I don't think he really understands. Yeah,
I guess they didn't spend most of the last 145 years together, so I guess maybe he really doesn't understand. But he was the Ripper of Monterey.
Yeah.
He killed communities of people. So I guess I don't really understand.
Yeah, I think Damon is kind of just making light of it in a way. Like, he's kind of like, but I mean, I think he just, I mean, obviously from this episode, he doesn't understand that it's an addiction. Like, that it's like, Stefan, he cannot drink human blood because, like, for Stefan, there's no line. There's no, like, oh yeah, I can just drink this, be full, and I'm good. Like, no, he's never full. He will fill and fill and fill.
He does not fill up.
Yeah.
A bottomless pit, pretty much.
He literally is when it comes to human blood. So he's pretty aggressive about saying, like, no to the blood bags.
Yes.
And no to any human blood. And he's basically just, like, trying to dry himself out is kind of the gist we get.
Yeah, it seems like he's just going cold turkey. Yeah.
Blood.
Which also,
it's interesting.
Again, I agree with Damon's logic here. Going cold turkey usually does not work.
No, it's like you gotta, I don't know. It's a whole thing. Stefan no longer has Lexi to help him through that.
Yeah, so here we go.
He's
down
gotta
the
try
spiral.
his best.
Yeah.
And then Uncle John Gilbert.
Yeah, even worse than Stefan's bloodlust being out of control, John Gilbert rolls right back into town for the first time. This is the first time on a first watch that you get to see him. Mm-hmm. But as a rewatcher, and even immediately in that first scene, I mean, you can tell no one is happy to see him.
I love how everyone universally expresses intense disdain for John Gilbert. Like, he's just like, it's so funny. I don't feel like often in a TV show there's like a character who everyone so widely like hates.
Yeah, not
it's
usually.
It's usually more in like a Damon way where it's like, oh, like people dislike them because they're selfish or quote unquote evil or whatever else,
or you love to hate them.
Exactly. It's usually more like that, like, oh, we hate him but he's our best friend. But no, John Gilbert is just like, everyone hates him.
Everyone agrees.
He's just
the
a jerk.
Worst. Even Matt agreed.
Yeah, exactly. Which really tells you something.
Yeah, which is saying something.
And he shows up like as Jeremy and Elena are leaving for school, and they basically don't even acknowledge him. They're just like, oh, hi, and then leave.
Yeah.
He showed up unannounced, and they're just like, okay, bye.
Yeah, and Jenna, as soon as they leave, Jenna's like, how long are you going to be here?
Yeah.
Basically just saying she does not want him around. Yeah.
And it's also so weird because immediately he says to Jenna, like, you thought I was just gonna sign the papers to sell his brother
the
Grayson's
apothecary
office, and I would just be okay with that. And Jenna's like, well, it belongs to Jeremy and Elena, and like they're fine with it.
Yeah.
And he's like, they're minors, they don't know. And it's like, John, why do you need this office so bad? If no one's using the space, why would you not sell it? They'd probably rather have the money and like put it towards their college tuition or whatever than like Or Elena needs another car. She's always getting in
She's
accidents.
always totaling her cars. Yeah, that's too true.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing I could think was maybe he saw that Jenna's trying to sell the apothecary to Pearl. I assume Pearl's name would be on the documents.
That could be
maybe.
true. And
he doesn't want Pearl to have it.
Catherine.
Yeah.
That could be it.
I don't know.
The only other thing I was thinking was, of course, the plan at the end of the season 1 that they do lock the vampires down there for the big takeout. But, like, it could have been anybody's building. Yeah. It could have been I don't know, just an odd. Yeah. It's an odd thing to be all, like, mad about.
The real reason, John just sucks.
Yes, that is the real reason.
He's the worst.
That's the real reason.
Yeah, but also, I agree. It doesn't really seem to be a bigger reason.
Yeah. Well, and it could also just be a cover that, like, the real reason he is in town is the whole vampire thing, but he needs a reason to say to, like, Jenna and everyone else that he's in town.
That's true. That is actually probably what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. He just needs it as a cover.
Yeah.
So anyway, Matt tells Elena, or Elena tells Matt at school that John's there, and he also agrees that he's the
like,
worst.
I hate that guy.
Yeah. And then we also get a little check-in on the Vicky situation.
Yes.
It has been a few days. They've had Vicky's memorial. They've had Vicky's funeral. Mm-hmm. The whole thing has happened. You know, he kind of mentions to Elena, like, thanks for being there. And they mention that Caroline makes Matt dinner every night. And very sweet of her.
Yeah.
So that's a nice little scene between Elena and Matt. We get a lot of Elena and Matt in this episode.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, Matt also thanks Elena for having been there through all of it and all those things, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And then we've got Tyler and Jeremy hanging out at the stoner pit in the back of the school.
Yeah.
And they're just like, Tyler's smoking. He offers it to Jeremy, but he says no.
Yeah.
And Jeremy is just speculating about Vicky. He's like, but, like, who would, like, bury her? Like, if she just had an overdose, you would just leave the body if you were doing drugs with her. You wouldn't, like, take the time to bury her. Like, he's, like, really, like, which is logical.
Making valid points. Yeah, exactly.
Valid points. But obviously, like, you know, Tyler especially is, like, I don't want to talk about this.
Yeah, especially while you're smoking. It's like, I don't want to be thinking about someone ODing.
Yeah, you're at school. Yeah. It's a girl that you
time.
both dated. It's like, I don't really want to think about her death anymore. Like, everyone else, I think, is at a point where it's just like, let's move on. Yeah. Like, I just want to move on. But Jeremy
does
answers.
Not want it. No, he does not want to move on.
For obvious reasons, because he had the answers and they were pulled away from him. Also needing some answers, the council.
Oh my God, yes.
They are having, like, I don't even know where or what they're meeting.
I don't know.
They're just having a little morning sesh, a little check-in meeting.
They're having their little check-in on just a weekday morning. I don't know.
So random. And so it starts with Liz is kind of giving the status update on Vicky and mentioning that it was ruled an overdose. Yes. The secret will stay in this room. Yes. So all of the council obviously knows. I was curious if they knew that she was a vampire. Like, I would assume that they could tell from her body, because usually vampires are, like, gray and veiny.
Yeah.
So,
like, I don't know.
I would assume that they would be able to tell that she was a vampire, but
they don't know. They don't not know enough.
Maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know if they ever would have seen. Oh, I guess they saw Lexi.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
They definitely.
I don't know.
I mean, even if not, I would think that any sort of morgue person would be like, this body's
not
right.
normal. Yeah, you would think.
Something's weird here. So I don't know. I thought that was interesting also that they don't bring that up at all. Not that they would even know the situation, but they'd probably be able to speculate, like, oh, she was missing for a few days and she was reported for being, like, really weird those few days that she was being seen. So, like, she was probably only a vampire for a few days.
I don't know if they would have actually been able to put it together.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I wish we got that.
They could, but yeah.
Yeah. I wish we got that insight into, like, what they understand. Because, I mean, to this point, the council is just dumb. They just don't know what's going on. Yeah. Which is probably still true.
Clearly not.
But at least they could have thrown him a bone and been like, we know she was turned for only a few days. Yada, yada.
Yeah. See, that's the only thing I'm thinking is maybe they know, you know, she wasn't a vampire for very long. Maybe they can somehow figure that out. Or also just... They know Vicky. Yeah. They know they've known her their whole lives. They don't think she's been a vampire for long. Yeah. So maybe that's part of it. I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting. A good question, though. Also interesting then is John Gilbert shows up at the council meeting.
Yep.
And he announces that the hospital, like the next town over, has a blood bag shortage. They've all been going missing. People have been going missing. Security guards, yada yada. Yep. So clearly the problems of the vampires are not over.
Yes.
So that's a pretty big drop into that whole situation. And Damon and Liz are kind of whispering about who John is, because Damon has no idea, and he's like, oh, it's related to Elena.
Yeah.
Liz even has to throw out there that he's a jerk.
She's like, his name's John, but I call him Jackass.
Yeah. So even Liz Forbes doesn't like him.
Liz.
That tells you everything.
That's really saying something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also wondered why John is just bringing this to their attention. I guess maybe the council before this really wasn't, like, I think we forget how bad they are in season 1. But I guess the council didn't think to check other hospitals. That's such a thing in later seasons that I don't know. I was just surprised that John was the one bringing this to their attention.
No, they definitely didn't. Like, they genuinely were like, oh, well, the Mystic Falls Hospital is good, so we're good.
Yeah.
Like, they really were
guess
like,
it's all good.
Vampires will not drive, like, the 20 minutes to the next hospital.
There's no possible way they could go out of town.
Yeah, and nobody's died, so we got them.
Yeah, except Vicky.
Yeah.
I guess they know about Vicky, and they're suspicious, but...
Which, maybe they were like, Lexi turned Vicky.
Maybe.
You know, that's probably what they imagined. Because Lexi did die right after Vicky, like, the next episode. Presumably not that much time. So, it's possible that then Lexi could have turned Vicky based on their timelines. Like, they don't know when Lexi got to town.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Also, I'm just realizing if they think that Vicky... or if they know that Vicky was a vampire, they think Damon is the only one capable of killing a vampire. So maybe Damon should have used that to his advantage and been like, she was a vampire, I had to kill her.
Yeah. But they would have had to say it right when it happened, which was before the Lexi thing again. Yeah. So would have drawn probably too much suspicion. But yeah, they probably should have, like, figured out a way to, like, after he killed Lexi, then be like, oh, I got Vicky Donovan. She was a vampire. Yeah. Like, he could have pulled it off, but they were just not. Yeah. Not planning ahead. They were not thinking.
Yeah. Too much going on.
Yeah, definitely too much going on. So they're at school. The teens are at school.
Yeah, the teens are, of course.
And Elena goes to see Alaric.
Yes.
And Alaric shows Elena Jeremy's paper about vampires. And he says, like, oh, he was very clear that he didn't believe any of it. It was just speculative. But of course, Alaric is like, this is reason to worry.
Yes, exactly. And Elena even says in this conversation, Alaric asks, you know, how do you keep this from him? You know, why do you keep this from him? And she says, of course, the party line, I'm doing it to protect him. I'm doing it because I love him, and it's not safe for him to know. Tell him. He so clearly already knows, or is at least a little suspicious. Like, I know Alaric says in the conversation that Jeremy made it clear he doesn't actually believe. But come on.
Yeah, come on.
Like, it still warrants a conversation.
It definitely does. And like Elena says, too, it's like, did the compulsion not work? Like, and this escalates throughout the episode, so, like, we'll get to the sort of conversation that they have. But it definitely is, like, something to be worried about. And, yeah, I do really like that, like, moment between Alaric and Elena just saying, like, how do you lie to everyone? And Alaric says that he thinks Stefan is a good guy, but he's still a vampire.
He still cautions Elena.
Yeah, and she's like, well, he would never hurt me. And so, you know, clearly she just fully trusts him.
Yes.
And then to really counter that, to really set that up nicely, then we go right into a Stefan and Elena scene. Yep. They're in her bedroom, and they're speculating about the Jeremy situation. And Stefan does say, like, just ask him. Like, it's an innocent question if you just ask about his paper. And, you know, you'll just see if he doesn't know anything, then there's nothing suspicious about it.
Right.
Which I agree with. I feel like it's like...
I agree.
It's accurate, but I do wonder, I'm like, well, if he wasn't, like, if it wasn't totally just, like, a paper that, you know, was speculative, it would raise a flag. Like, it would definitely be like, why does she want to know about my vampire paper? Which I don't know if he even really picks up on.
Yeah. I don't know.
She does it really well. I will say that. Like, when she does bring it up. But, I don't know. I still find him, I'm like, it's still a little bit of a risk. But
I guess it is. But I think Jeremy knows just little enough that she could bring it up if she did it the right way.
And she does do it the right way.
Yeah, she does do it pretty well. But I feel like Jeremy only really knows about Anna and Vicky.
That's true. He has no reason to believe that Elena's involved.
Think anyone else is really involved. Yeah.
Although, I think that her bringing it up is what makes him go look in her room. So
that's true. So maybe not.
So maybe it didn't work. I don't know.
But also, if you're going to bring it up, just tell him. Just have an honest conversation and be like,
Well, that's the problem with the conversation where it's like both of them are so evasive about the answers there that like you can't be sure. And like she still doesn't want to drag him into it. So I don't know. It's a really like hard moment between like where do I need to tell him, where do I not? I don't know. It's difficult. Anyway, so after they talk about Jeremy, then Elena asks how Stefan's doing with the whole blood thing.
Yes.
And he says like, I'm a little jittery, I'm a little on edge, but I'm doing better.
Yeah. It's gonna be fine. It's just gonna last a couple days.
Yeah. I'm all good. And you know, he's just been laying low for the past few days, so I don't think he went to any of like Vicky's memorial stuff or anything like that.
Probably
he's just been kind of trying to dry out. So of course they start making out. That's the really nice bridge right there from, oh yeah, I'm like desperate for eating human blood. Let's make out.
Yeah, naturally.
Yeah, of course. And of course he starts getting the vampy eyes.
Yes.
And things really escalate from there.
Yes.
And he like flings himself back against the wall like her chair.
Yeah, knocking everything over the like across. Yeah. He's just messing things up. And also making a loud noise. But also, don't we know that Jenna, Jeremy, and John are downstairs
having dinner?
Yeah, they're all just having a conversation downstairs, which we'll get to. Huge reveal in that conversation, but
yes. But yeah, so they stop, obviously.
Yes.
And also, like, I just thought that was so funny. Stefan Salvatore and Edward Cullen have some strong parallels.
Oh, God.
I'm always bringing it up. But Edward does, like, the same thing with Bella. They start making out and it gets too hot and he flings himself back against the wall.
God.
Stefan does the exact same thing. I just thought that was funny.
I don't think I would have caught that, but that's a good parallel.
I'm too ingrained in both Vampire Diaries and Twilight.
The vampire world.
Yeah, the vampire world. So I just caught that immediately. But yeah, they have a lot of similarities. So adding that one to the list. But anyway, so that's pretty much where that scene ends. It's like, okay, we gotta cool it there.
Yes. And downstairs, Jeremy, Jenna, and John are all just, having casual conversation. Not much really happens, except John reveals that he and Jenna used to sleep together.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I honestly wanted to forget about that.
Well, don't we all? I'm sure Jenna also did.
Yeah.
Which she doesn't confirm or deny, but she does throw some, like a towel or whatever at John, which
is confirmation.
Which we all know, we all make mistakes, Jenna. Oh. It's okay. But we see even more of how tragic her love life is.
That's true. Add one more name to the list.
One more. Yeah. Tragic love life.
Oh, yeah. Yes. That was an interesting reveal. I honestly didn't even write it down because I was like, I don't want to remember that happened.
Don't want to think about it.
But to a better couple.
Yes, a better,
So, after the whole Stefan flings himself into the wall situation.
Yeah, of course.
Elena invites over Damon.
Naturally, she's worried.
Yes, of course. But I just find it so interesting that she invites him over to... I think she just invites him over just to talk about Stefan.
Yeah, pretty much.
But it's so great that I love this little scene. He comes over and she goes to take him up to her room so that they can talk in private because Jeremy's downstairs eating cereal or whatever.
Yeah.
And he has to loudly announce, "No, Elena, I will not go to your bedroom with you."
Yeah.
Which Jeremy just rolls his eyes.
Jeremy's just okay, I hate these two. They're in love and I hate them.
Yeah. Jeremy, Alaric, he's the secondary Alaric. He's sort of around for a lot of Elena and Damon moments. Yeah. And he doesn't necessarily support it, but he's these two.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Yes, definitely. But then, they go upstairs and first Damon reveals that John is in town and he's on the council.
Yeah.
And that he's worried about that.
Yeah.
And Elena says, add that to our growing list of problems.
Yeah.
And she reveals that she thinks Stefan is troubled.
Struggling. Yeah, she does. And Elena, I really like that scene.
Yeah.
The way that they're sharing that information like that. It feels so domestic in a weird way.
Yeah.
I don't know, because also Damon just waltzes right in and lays down on her bed, puts her teddy bear on his lap. Yeah. He gets up and starts going through her underwear drawer or whatever. Yeah. It's just very funny that they're so comfortable with each other.
They are
already.
very
They hated each other 2 episodes ago. Well, she hated him at least.
Yeah.
Now they're good. I don't know.
Now they're fine. It's because it's meant to be. They just get each other.
They cannot deny each other.
Yeah.
But also, Elena's a psycho for only having pillows on one half of her bed.
Yeah.
Did you notice that?
Yes.
There were 2 pillows on one side of the bed.
On one side.
And the other side had no pillows. I was like, she's crazy, because I have literally 12 pillows on my bed.
Oh, of course. Yeah, I have to have multiple. I have to shove them off when I get on my bed. Yeah.
I wake up in the morning and I have a couple pillows on the floor.
Yeah,
I just
exactly.
can't fit that many.
Yeah.
But yeah, she has literally just the 2 on one side. She's crazy.
Yes.
But yeah, so they have a pretty good scene there, and he does notice the mess from when Stefan was thrown into the wall.
Yeah, but he seems mostly unconcerned.
Yeah, he's kind of like, he'll get over it.
Yeah.
Fine.
Cut to Stefan spiralling. There's a quick scene where he's literally losing control. Yeah. He's blacking himself out to forget his bloodlust.
Yeah, that's true.
Just that brief snippet.
Yes.
And then we see Elena and Jeremy.
Yeah. Yeah, Elena and Jeremy, she asks him to go out for a little walk, and she finally reveals to him that she's adopted.
Yes, which
how did she go that long without saying that?
I mean, she and Jenna, I feel like, talked about it pretty openly in a few episodes, or at least in a few scenes.
Multiple episodes ago.
In the house.
Episode 11
a
was
while
when she
ago.
found out. That was 6 episodes ago.
I don't know. I get not wanting to tell your sibling that you're not really their biological sibling.
Yeah, and especially when you don't even really know or understand the situation, first of all.
Yeah.
It's confusing, and you kind of need to process it on your own before you can even tell anybody, let alone,
Yeah.
Yeah. So I do get it, but it just is crazy that it took that long.
Yes.
But I do really like that scene. It's nice that they acknowledge, we might not biologically be still siblings, but we're still siblings. That's all that matters. It doesn't change anything about their relationship. And they have the nice little joke where, so Elena does ask.
She does mention,
about the paper. And, he just kind of says, it's just speculative. It's whatever.
Yeah.
And he mentioned something about that he might be one of, the Gilbert crazies.
Yeah.
And she's like, the Gilberts aren't crazy. And he's like, well, you can say that because you're not one of them. It's a great little
do they know. But it's a cute little jab. And then Elena does a playful shove.
Yeah, nice little giggle.
I love the Elena-Jeremy relationship. They have a great dynamic.
They're really good siblings.
They
I feel
are.
like a lot of shows dance an awkward line where sometimes siblings really come off like a couple, in a weird way.
Yes.
Where it's you guys got too much chemistry and tension here. This is not sibling vibes. Or they just feel like 2 separate characters where you don't even think of them as being related.
Yeah.
And sometimes Elena and Jeremy can be a little bit more on that spectrum of things, I will say. Not necessarily because they don't play it well, or maybe that it's not they're just not connected. They often have 2 separate storylines.
Yes.
But when they are put in a scene together, they play sibling really well.
Yeah, they do play it really well.
So love a good Elena and Jeremy scene. Then, of course, the next version of the Founders Party, the kickoff party.
Yes, the Founders Day kickoff party, which kicking off all those events.
Yeah,
but
and I thought we already have had multiple founders. So what are we kicking off? I don't know.
I don't have any idea.
The whole season's just ongoing.
Yep.
But I love when they show this one, they show the mansion they're having the party at, and they show the sign where it says 150 years or whatever. And there's this random background actor voice that goes, I know, our little town. Okay.
I did catch that too. Okay. I have never noticed that before. Second, it was just so loud. I don't know how I haven't. I don't know if
I've noticed it once before. I
don't know, but yeah, it's literally next to Stefan and Damon walking into this. It's as if the voice is right there. I know our little town.
150 years. Yeah, I don't know why they make it so prominent.
Yeah, I don't know either. Turn the volume just down a little bit.
It did not need to be an essential part. So anyway, so they get in there, and Stefan says something to Damon about still liking people or not hating people anymore. He's like, you don't hate people anymore. And Damon's like, oh, I still do. I just love that they love me.
Yeah.
I love that line.
I love that. It's so good.
It's so good. It's so true. And then, of course, the Donovans actually got an invite to this one.
Yes. Only because
Vicky
recently passed away.
Yeah, that's what Kelly says. She's like, oh, wow, a dead kid gets a greeting from the mayor. Matt's like, Mom.
Yeah.
But I mean, come on. That's how grief is. You just say things you're not supposed to.
I mean, but she's not wrong.
She's not wrong. She's 1,000%
very
correct.
justified in saying that. Also, Mayor Lockwood sucks. So
yeah, he literally sucks.
She should
we're going
read
to talk
him
about all episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, then Tyler and Matt sneak away. They have drinks.
They grab a bottle.
Yeah.
Yep.
Classic.
Always a recipe for a good time.
Oh, yeah. Secret drinking at a founder's party. That sounds like fun.
Yes.
But in this situation, mixed results.
Yes, but not so secretly drinking.
Oh, yeah.
Stefan is blackout.
Full on drunk. Which I was wondering, how much do you have to drink as a vampire to get that level of drunk?
I would think a lot. Handles.
Yeah, like he's gone. A whole like barrel.
Yeah,
of, like,
forget
whiskey.
checking the hospitals for blood bags. Check the liquor stores, see if they have anything left.
Yeah, Stefan. I don't know how much he's drunk, but he's so drunk. And he says it's like, to curb the cravings.
Takes the edge off. Yep.
Which really tells you how bad the cravings are that he
has to be blackout.
Much.
Yeah.
So he's very irregular in this episode. He's not very Stefan vibes at all. Which part of that is this is the first time that we're seeing him the way he acts when he's had human blood, and then the other part of it is, of course, the drunkenness.
Yeah.
And so he goes over and compels the DJ because for some reason he wants to dance. And Elena says that. She's like, you never want to dance.
Which is the first sign that he's really fucked up.
Yeah. That's me too, Stephanie. Yeah. I want to dance every time I have like one sip of anything. Like, give me one sip of White Claw. I'm like, it's time to dance.
He's very relatable. Yeah. So he goes to compel the DJ, and Kelly's like, I couldn't get them to change the music because they're just playing some terrible classical
music to try to make it like a classy party.
Yeah, and Stefan compels the DJ to change the music, and the DJ puts on 1901 by Phoenix. Great song.
Whatever he compelled the DJ to play, banger after banger this whole episode.
Oh my god, yeah, so many good songs.
Yeah.
And they actually do start dancing. Stefan is dancing with Kelly.
Yeah, Stefan dances with Kelly. It literally such a role reversal because then Damon comes over to Elena and stands next to her and they're like speculating about how Stefan's doing. Mm-hmm. And this is the first time you see how Stefan and Damon like really weirdly fill these roles. And if one of them sort of flips into the other role, they flip-flop.
Yes.
This is the first time you see that. And it gets more drastic as it goes because Damon's still acting very Damon-like in this episode. Mm-hmm. He does drastically kill someone that he shouldn't have. But you still see...
But it's fine.
It ends up being fine. But you do see how, like, Stefan... It feels like Damon. Like, he's, causing, like, a scene. He's dancing. He's partying with Kelly. He's having fun. And Damon is just the one standing next to... Damon is
pulled together a little bit more.
Yeah, and he's, like, standing next to Elena and speculating about how they can, like, keep things together and, make sure everything's fine. And it's like, well, role reversal. Yeah. That's the first time we've seen that. Interesting. Yeah. And then, of course, Elena is talking to Jenna at one point, and Alaric comes over, and she says that Alaric's coming over, and Jenna's like, how do I look? And Elena says, beautiful. It's very so sweet cute. Moment. I really like that moment. I love all Elena-Jenna moments. They have a very sweet relationship.
Yeah, they definitely do. And you can tell that they're like so close in age. You can tell it's almost like a sisterly relationship. Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah, like an older sister.
Yeah.
And definitely like a good, like a young aunt relationship too.
Definitely.
I wish we got more of them throughout the show.
Yeah, me too.
And then we also get a little bit of Elena and Matt. Matt asks Elena to dance, and I actually thought it was really cute, their little dance together. The only thing that's not cute is you're like, oh yeah, he's like in love with her still.
Yeah. Well, he and Tyler also snuck the bottle, so they're definitely also showing Matt is a little drunk during this too.
Oh, he definitely is, but that's kind of what makes it a little cute.
But it's fine.
His sister just died. He deserves to let loose.
Yeah. While Matt and Elena go dance, Damon goes up to Liz and compliments her outfit because she's finally... Yeah, me too. Because she's finally not wearing like the sheriff's uniform, which really is like the only thing she ever gets to wear in the show. Like, she has like 2 other outfits that are very casual that I can think of.
Yes,
but
I know. I can only think of one.
Yeah, but she does look nice, and Damon compliments her. Yeah, and she goes, so "I needed that." And I was like, "Oh, I do love Damon and Liz."
Damon is so good with women. He's so.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, and it's so sweet. His relationship with Liz, especially, they're just such good buddies, and like. Yeah, I just love that scene. I also love her hair, the spikiness.
Yeah, it's like really spiked out at the end. It's cute. Yeah.
But yeah, then Jeremy comes over to Liz and Damon.
Yes.
And he starts asking about Vicky. He's like, who would bury the body? Like, who would do that? And, Liz is just trying to be like, it's an ongoing investigation. We can't talk about it. We don't know right now. There's no public answers. Yada, yada. So they move along. And Elena and Stefan, he asks her to dance.
Yep.
you know, again,
Of
out
course.
of character, but it's nice. She's like, I will reap the benefits of this. I'm
Yeah,
fine
why
with
not?
this.
Yeah.
But of course, they're having fun dancing, and then he spins Elena out, and she accidentally knocks into this guy who, worst person she could have possibly knocked into. He immediately is like such a jerk to her about it.
Yeah, he's such a dick. I don't understand. Like, it comes out of nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just one of those guys. He's just like, you're so clumsy, yada yada. And she does say, she's like, oh, sorry, like, I'm just clumsy. Like, it was an accident. But he's still like mean to her about it. So of course Stefan really steps up and is really terrible to this guy and is compelling him to apologize. And he like tells him to apologize more sincerely or something.
Yeah,
like
like he means it.
Yeah. And he just goes, I'm really sorry.
Not meaning it at all.
No, literally not at all. He's only saying it because he's compelling him.
Yeah.
But this really raises the alarm bells in Elena. You can see her being like kind of scared. Like, this is very out of character and like uncomfortable.
Yeah, Stefan is not usually this aggressive.
No, never. I don't think he has been yet.
No, not really.
Way.
Not like this. Not to just a random person.
That's what I was gonna say. I think the only other time is, again, on Pleasantville, when he goes after that not the tomb vampire, whatever the one vampire was who was chasing Elena. That's the only other time we've seen him being aggressive. But that guy was actively like stalking and torturing Elena. So like justified. This was just a random jerk at a party, so not justified.
Not as much. No.
Yeah. So then Elena goes over to Damon and they start talking about Stefan and like really emphasizing like he doesn't seem good. And then Damon is like, oh, well, Jeremy is not doing too good.
Is very suspicious. Yeah.
I love Damon's impression of Jeremy. It's so funny. Someone buried her. Who would do that? And then he's like, me, I would do that. It's really good.
It is a really good Damon moment. And
little
also
escalation.
Yeah, I do love their little conversation. And, you know, Damon says he would have compelled him, but he has on the bracelet. Yeah. The Vervain bracelet. And Elena says to Damon, don't compel Jeremy. Yeah. Don't compel him.
I'm glad she's realized that like that doesn't actually help anything. Yeah. And like clearly it's not preventing him from like looking into this more. And so it's really nice because they're both just like, both of our brothers are a mess right now. Again, another thing they can bond over.
Yeah.
And of course, during this whole like kind of serious conversation about both of these two situations that are big problems for both of them, Damon just like plucks this rose and hands it to Elena. It's such a sweet little moment. And he walks away and she's just left standing there with the rose. And you can tell that she's kind of like, wait, what just happened? Like, so smooth.
Yes. It's a really nice moment. But then, of course, Damon's nice moment is ruined because he goes and talks to John.
Yes. Yeah, John always making things not good. And basically in this scene, he just reveals like a ton of information that he knows. Yeah. He knows about the tomb, that the vampires didn't die in 1864. He knows about Damon. Yeah. He knows a lot of stuff. And so, you know, Damon's like, well, I assume you're on Vervain, so, you know, I'm not going to drink your blood or compel you.
Yep.
So, of course, Damon goes for his next best move, which is a good old neck snap.
Quick snap of the neck.
Take him out. He was like, I'm not dealing with this.
Yeah, no.
I'm just going to stop this.
John just tumbles over the balcony.
Yeah, it's so good. Also, it's so good because the DJ's playing Paramore.
Yes.
It soundtracks it so perfectly. And so...
So he's done. He's taken care of.
Yeah, John's
Goodbye,
dead.
John.
Yeah, for now. And so then we get Elena and Jeremy. She pulls him away into a separate little room at this house and asks about Vicky and, you know, just like what's going on there. Like he needs to move on. He needs to like, you know, forget and let it go. Yeah. And she slips up. Yes. She says, whatever it was, you need to let it go. And he was like, whatever it was? So you think there was something? And she kind of tries to breeze past it, but like she's done too much damage.
Yeah. Which also, I think she had already like given up the game in that whole conversation because I feel like it's just very much not Elena and not in her character to tell him to move on.
That's true.
I don't know. I just feel like, not that it's insensitive because she isn't really being insensitive, but it seems very unlike Elena to just say, you know, move on.
Yeah, let it go.
Part of me thinks Jeremy would have been suspicious anyway because she was like, move on.
I think so too. I think if she had approached it like, you know, a little bit more like there's no answers to be found. Like, I understand you're grieving. Like, if she had come at it more from like a feel your feels, Jeremy, like there's nothing here to like look into. I understand this is hard. Yeah. she might have gotten away with it, but instead it was like a stop, you're causing problems,
move
stop.
on, don't think anything of it.
No. Which was literally so suspicious.
I think that's what I'm trying to get at. It's suspicious and just out of character.
But the slip up of the whatever it was like such a dead giveaway that it was like, okay, so it was something then. And so Jeremy does know, like, he's lying. Or she's lying.
Yeah, Elena is lying.
Yeah, something's going on. So he's going to go leave the party and get up to something else.
Yes. But back at the party. Unfortunately, we see, Tyler's bumps into Kelly. And he's going to lead her to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And she takes his drink, realizes vodka's in the drink.
Yeah.
And, they go outside and Tyler and Kelly have this conversation about Vicky, where Tyler says, I was a dick to her. I don't even feel like I should be allowed to be upset. And Kelly is obviously in a way touched, and they both agree, like, we don't have anyone else to talk to, which is kind of sad. And I get that they would bond in this moment, but if you're not they bond too much.
If you're not watching the video version, I am grimacing through this entire description because it's just brutal. First of all, Tyler is so drunk. So this is not...
Yes. So is Kelly.
So is Kelly, but
pretty drunk.
She's an adult woman.
She's at least an
17.
adult, but yes.
So, just such a questionable situation. So, of course... we move away from that and it's like, this is interesting. They're bonding.
Yeah.
We see Matt and Elena and, he's also really drunk, but he just says, like, founders parties are fun? Like, this is surprising. And she's like, they're usually not. But, like, it's nice that Matt is actually having, like, a really good time.
Yeah.
Which, poor Matt. He deserves to have a good time.
He does deserve to have this nice night out.
And then, of course, it's ruined because Matt and Elena say they'll go outside to get some fresh air. He needs, to sober up a little bit. And as soon as they step outside, what do they find? Tyler and Kelly.
Yeah.
They have escalated to full on making out.
Yes. At this Founders Day event where, Matt is there. The parents are there.
Everyone is there.
Every single
except
person
Caroline and Bonnie.
Yeah, every single person in town except Caroline and Bonnie is there.
Yeah, so of course, Matt grabs Tyler off of his mother and punches him. And of course, Tyler is the way that Tyler is, and he really escalates it and, like, nearly kills Matt.
Yeah, punches him back. Kelly gets thrown into a table.
Yeah.
Matt and Tyler end up on the ground, and Tyler's on top of Matt just punching him repeatedly. It's pretty brutal.
It's pretty bad. It really shows, they knew what they were going to do with Tyler in terms of the werewolf gene and the aggression. We already saw they hinted at it in the career fair episode, but this is one where they really nail it in. That even to his best friend, when he was in the wrong,
more importantly, when he's in the wrong,
he really escalates to that level of anger and aggression, and almost could have killed Matt in that moment.
Oh, definitely.
Which again, the werewolf situation. So we see how that really could happen for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But luckily, Alaric shows up at the perfect moment to save the day. I really love these early season Alarics.
Yeah,
he really is
great.
such a good protector of his students.
All of them, yeah.
And he jumps right in the middle and pulls Tyler off of him and shoves him against the wall and is like, what is going on? And unfortunately,
Mayor Lockwood comes out, kind of sends Alaric away.
Yeah.
And tells everyone to go back to the party. Much.
He's like, oh, nothing to see here.
Yeah, whatever.
Go back to having fun.
No big deal.
He's the worst.
Yeah.
And so then we cut away to Damon and Stefan, and
Damon's line here.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear the bad news or the really bad news?
Yeah. It's so perfect. And Stefan's just blackout. He's been partying. He doesn't even care.
He's off these drugs. He's tripping.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just wanders away pretty much.
Well, so Damon does say, like, the council's back to hunting vampires, and also I killed Jonathan Gilbert.
Yeah, he does tell him the bad and the really bad news.
So he does say it, and so then Damon wanders away, and Stefan goes to follow him, because it's like, whoa, wait a second, you killed John Gilbert. But before he can get there, he smells some human blood, and is pulled out to the patio, where what does he find? But a sobbing Kelly Donovan, who has a cut on her forehead, and this scene, we laugh every time we watch it. It's so weird. It makes sense, like, logically. I'm like, I see why it happens and how it happens, but it's just so funny because she's bleeding from the forehead, and Stefan like stands over her and like bends down really slowly, and he's just like mesmerized, like staring at her forehead.
Yeah, like lights are on, no one home. He's just literally looking like,
and she's like talking to him. I don't remember like what she's saying, but I think she's like saying something about being a disappointment and making her upset.
She's saying she makes everything wrong. All these things.
She's like trying to have a conversation, and he like Simbas her. He like puts his finger in the blood, and he's like smearing the blood around, which of course then she shuts up because she's like, what are you doing? And he realizes and like quickly pulls away and just like runs away, which makes it so much weirder. I really want to know what Kelly thinks of that whole situation.
I know, I would have loved like a little cut back to her face.
So he gets away from that, and Damon is back to enjoying the party. He looks pretty happy with himself.
Let's not forget, as Stefan walks away, he licks his fingers once he gets out to the fence.
Well, once he gets out, he doesn't lick his fingers. He sucks on his fingers.
Like
fingers are fully in the mouth, sucking on his fingers. And so Damon's enjoying the party. Damon's like in there just hanging out, and Jonathan Gilbert wanders back in. And he's obviously alive, and Damon is now 0 for 2 on his attempts at killing people lately.
Then Mayor Lockwood, sort of starts to introduce the party. He's giving a little speech, and he also introduces John to ring the bell, which, we'll talk about the bell later. Is it the same bell? I don't know.
I was going to say
the bell, we'll get there in a very long time. But yeah, he introduces John and basically says, the first son or whatever.
Yeah, the favorite son.
Yeah. And of course, John and Damon are kind of exchanging looks, and John is giving a speech that's obviously very pointed. He's like, I will always protect this town. Like, he's giving these pointed things.
Yeah. Protecting his family and that kind of stuff. It's very like, Damon, this is about you.
Yes, exactly. So of course Damon goes over to Alaric because they're now partners in crime. Unspoken, but they're now partners in crime, which I love.
I love that he feels the need to immediately go over to Alaric and start speculating, being like, well, I had just killed him. And he's back.
And well, for the obvious reason, he points out to Alaric, like, look at his hand.
Yeah,
they have the same ring.
Yeah, the exact same ring, Alaric and John. And Damon really intelligently connects the dots here and says, oh, you got that ring from Isabel, who very conveniently gave birth to Elena with John's brother.
Yeah.
Like, that's too weird of a connection for you to have the exact same ring.
Yes,
like, clearly something is going on here. Which makes sense then why Alaric is actually interested in this sort of partnership with Damon.
Yeah.
And how he gets so entrenched in it. Because, Alaric wants these answers, too.
Yeah. I do always forget that, his whole premise for getting involved in this. Because, again, it always feels like he's just been involved from the beginning. Especially on a rewatch. You're like, of course, Alaric.
Yeah.
But, I always sort of forget that he really is looking for these answers about Isabel, and that he has no idea where to get them. So John is probably like a promising lead for him at this point.
Oh, he definitely is. He's his best chance.
Yeah.
Because John apparently knows everything. And so by the time he gets those answers, he's just so ingrained with everyone too, where it's just
he
like
just feels like he's one of the team.
So they're freaking out inside about this new information they're learning. Meanwhile, Stefan's outside sucking his fingers, and then he sees it's what he's doing. He's just sucking on the fingers. And so then he sees the jerk who he had compelled to like apologize to Elena, and the guy just tries to punch him. Like,
this guy kind of gets what's coming.
Maybe this guy was a werewolf too, because he's got this aggression
he is
gene.
Being such a jerk.
And so Stefan of course catches the fist and I think breaks his hand.
Yeah,
he starts
seems like
squeezing the hand after he catches it. And he does the vampy eyes, and we cut away, so we don't know what he does to the guy.
I actually forgot. I was like, does Stefan kill this guy right here?
I was pretty sure he didn't, but I was like, what does he do to this guy? And they just cut away, and you're just like left for a while wondering.
Yep.
Meanwhile, we finally get to see what Jeremy's been up to. He has gone home. He left the party early, and he's gonna snoop.
Yes.
He is looking for answers, and he's looking for answers in Elena's bedroom.
Yes.
And I love that Elena, he does find the journal, which is really what he's looking for, because that has all the answers.
Yep.
Elena hid it like behind the photo that's over her bed, which is a really smart spot. I did not hide things in smart spots like that when I was in high school.
No, me neither. I was actually thinking while we watched, I was like, how did he even think to look there? I would have never found it if I were looking for her journal.
Yeah. Did you have a journal in high school that you hid?
Okay. Brief sidetrack. I had one of those ones that was like the password protected.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I had one of those when I was a kid, but I didn't write it in high school. Did you do that?
Oh, not in high school. That was more like middle school.
Yeah.
In high school, I don't think I really kept a journal that well. Like I'd write like a page and then just kind of be done with it. So it didn't matter if someone found it. But in middle school, I was using that password protected one.
I did have the password protected one where it was like pink and purple and you had to like say a word. Yeah, I did do that.
Yep.
But I had 2 younger sisters, so like people were breaking into those journals and finding them in my household.
That makes sense.
So I did have to stop writing in that because they figured out how to like, I don't know, just break it so they would pop open.
Oh God.
So in high school, I hid my diary under my mattress. I would lift the mattress up and put it under. I don't know if they ever found it, but that's where it was most of the time.
Yep.
But Elena behind the portrait is really smart. I would not even think to look there. Because how is it even like resting there?
I thought that too. I guess maybe the frame has like a little
ledge.
Yeah, something that's like almost a ledge.
It must have.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought this was the most like sibling moment from Jeremy and Elena ever. Because in my household, we were constantly trying to find each other's journals and trying to figure out secrets. We had nowhere near the stakes of vampires and like, you know, how did our friends die and that kind of stuff. It was more just like, who does she have a crush on right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we were always trying to find each other's things. So I just thought that was so funny that, that he does this. But of course, he finds the journal and he starts reading and he's starting to get lots of info. He's connecting the dots. He sees bodies drained of blood and Vicky was a monster and lots of things. He knows everything now. But he puts it back and he doesn't say anything. We'll come back to him.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Elena's leaving the party looking for Stefan, like out in the little like parking lot area. And she finds the guy that Stefan had been with. And he's just like laying crumpled on the floor with, I think, a broken arm. Like he says like something about his arm not being right. And she asks what happened, and he's just like, oh, I fell.
Yeah, I'm clumsy.
I'm
saying
clumsy.
What she said.
Exactly what she said.
Suspicious.
So it's very obvious that he was compelled by Stefan.
Yes.
Like, Elena immediately knows. So, again, reason for concern. Like, this is not good. Then we've also got not good.
Oh my God. This is even more cause for concern.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. Tyler tries to apologize to his dad and his dad just punches him in the face.
Yes.
Maybe Lockwood sucks.
Yeah, Tyler's just, and he's like being really earnest about it too.
Yeah,
like he's
like he knows he fucked up.
Yeah, because he's also saying like, I don't really know why I did that. Like I don't know what came over me. Like it's almost like he's asking his dad for help of like, I don't know why I did that. I didn't want to do that. And his dad hits him, which just like
terrible.
It's just, and he says that Tyler like embarrasses the family.
Yes.
Which is also awful. Which, where is Carol? They mentioned
she's like the only one not in this party for whatever reason.
Carol, Caroline, and Bonnie.
Yep.
Which they mentioned Carol has total control over the music, but we never see her.
Yeah.
Weird. I guess there was no way to write around. Would she just stand there and watch him punch Tyler?
Yeah, I guess. Who knows?
I don't know. So maybe that's why they just admitted her. They were like,
she can't be here for this.
Yeah, we don't want her indicted into this whole situation.
No.
So that's really sad. Tyler fucked up this episode, but like that was way worse.
Yeah. But he is not the only one having a terrible parental relationship.
Yeah.
We also cut to Matt packing up Kelly's things.
Yeah.
And Kelly walks in on him packing all of her luggage.
Yeah.
And he basically says, I want you gone.
Yeah. He's like, I don't want you here. I don't want you in this house. Leave.
Yeah.
And it's really sad. And she's trying to apologize and say that she'll do better. And, you know, they talk about Vicky just a tiny bit. And it's just so sad. But it's clearly just like, you crossed such a heavy line when you were already in the gray. Like, you gotta go.
Yeah, it was already pretty bad. The Damon thing, forgivable. You know, all of the
Damon's
other
at
things.
least a consenting adult.
Yes, exactly. True. Yeah. You know, the bachelor part or the bachelor auction.
Yeah.
You know, there are some forgivable but iffy things, but this is not okay.
Yeah, especially right after Vicky, and especially when Matt was saying he had a really fun night. He like danced with his friends.
Yeah.
He got a little drunk at a party.
Yeah.
He was having a good night and his mother ruined it.
Yep.
It just is really sad.
And and he got beat up by his best friend because of it. Yeah, no, I'd be pretty pissed too.
She really ruined the whole thing for him. So that's, you know, she's going to leave town now is kind of where we leave that. And then we've got Damon and Alaric, who love the partnership again. They like tag team go after John.
John, yeah.
They like follow him out of the party. And John reveals like he knows a lot.
Everything, basically.
Yeah. Like
more than they know.
He knows more than they know.
Yeah.
And Damon's like, how do you know so much for someone who like just got to town? And he's like, I know way more than you think I know.
Yeah.
And he reveals like that he knows about Isabel. He knows that Alaric, and he literally says too, again, he knows more than they know. He says that the rings were Gilbert rings.
Yep.
And Alaric is wearing his, and the one that John is wearing was Grayson's. And he knows about Catherine. He knows about Isabel. He knows about like the tomb. Like he's fully in the know of like everything that's going on.
Yeah.
More so than they are.
Yes. And that he was the one that sent Isabel to Damon.
Yes.
Not Catherine.
Yeah.
Which she points out to Damon. Yeah.
Yeah. But
he knows everything.
Yeah, but he does know Catherine. Yeah, he's dropping so many bombs here. And he just drops all of these facts and just walks away. And the two of them are both like, these are all the answers we've been looking for.
Yeah, exactly. And he also says, if you kill me,
you'll never know.
All of this will be revealed to the council.
Yeah.
So
it'll all go to the council.
Unfortunately, even if they could kill him, they couldn't realistically because they want to know these things.
Yeah, because he does say like, oh, are you guys planning like a snatch, ring, kill situation? Yeah. It won't work.
Not going to work.
So... yeah, interesting. John, you hate him, but he really shakes up the plot.
He really does. He's pretty savvy. He knows what he's doing. Yeah. It's definitely intriguing, at least, even though you hate him.
Oh, for sure. He's the connector we needed in moving the story along. He's a great device as like a storytelling, piece. It works really well. Then, in almost the opposite way of people finding out information but not acknowledging it, Elena and Jenna get home, and Jeremy's in his room doing something, and Elena asks if he's okay or something. She says like something to him, and he just kind of doesn't react right.
Yeah.
And she asks if he's okay, and he's like, I'm fine.
Yeah.
And you can tell that she's like, something's a little off, like he's not okay.
Something's not quite right.
But he's saying he's fine, and like, you always got to pick your battles on that kind of stuff. So it's just kind of like, okay. And she just walks away. And
plus, she knows he's upset about the Vicky thing anyway. So it could just be that.
It could just be a lot. And he doesn't like these types of parties. He didn't want to go anyway. John was the one that forced him to go because Gilbert's have to. So, it's like, okay, it could just be that. So she just goes back to her room, and you're like, so we're just going to sit with the fact that Jeremy knows all of this. Cool. Okay.
Yep.
And she gets in her room.
Oh my God. I jumped. I actually literally jumped.
I was going to say, literally the biggest jump scare to Elena, to us, everyone watching. Stefan just like appears in her mirror. Literal jump scare. And he starts telling Elena about his night, about everything that was happening. And he didn't feed on anyone, is like what he gets across, is he didn't actually even feed on anyone. But like, he's not good. He's not doing well.
And he admits, he's like, I'm not okay.
Yeah. And I actually really like this episode as like a Stelena episode, as a Stefan and Elena episode. I mean, of course, it's like really dramatic and Stefan's not doing well, but it really shows how as a couple, Stefan and Elena like work well together because Stefan, he does say like, I don't want to keep any secrets from you. I'm telling you this because I want you to know. Yeah. But also like, I don't want you to see me like this. Yes. I'm not doing well. Like I'm like holding on by a thread here.
Yeah. It actually is pretty open and honest.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it really is like the honesty I think anybody would want in a relationship. Of like, I don't want you to see this because it sucks. But you deserve to know.
Yeah.
And then right back, Elena fully trusts him. And she's like, I know you won't hurt me. Yes. And she goes to him and hugs him in this moment because he really needs it.
Yeah, clearly.
He clearly needs it. He's not doing well. And, again, it's like they really work together because the honesty, the trust, it's really there. And so, she comforts him, and it's just it's a nice Stelena episode, surprisingly. All things considered.
Yes. No, it is a good moment. And even though she did comfort him, he goes
It only lasts so long. It only lasts so long.
You see him getting home. He's fucked up.
He's so far gone. Between Elena's house and the Salvatore boarding house, he lost his soul along the way. Like, he's gone.
You see him walk in. And, of course, Damon is sitting in the chair, not really facing him as he walks in. But, you see him, like, walk in, and you can tell he's not okay. Like, a true, like, lights on, no one's home. Like
fully
he's
gone.
Not good.
And Damon says, too, because Damon, he doesn't see him, and he's just like, we've got a full-on global crisis here.
Yeah.
Things are really bad. And before he can even get across what that is, he finally looks at Stefan, and Stefan is not even acknowledging Damon's existence.
No.
It's only the glass in Damon's hand that's full of the blood.
Yes.
And Stefan is just zeroed in on that blood. And after 75 plus years of sobriety, the need for that blood is like way too high. And that's basically what Damon says, is like, you've been
dry for too long.
You've been dry for too long. You're like, you're desperate for it at this point. And Damon leaves the room, leaves the glass and leaves the room. And Stefan finally succumbs to that hunger.
Yes. Yeah, he downs the entire cup.
Yeah. And we get the little vampy eyes, and it's like, Stefan's gone.
So he's off the rails.
Yeah. Under control. Which, not so much.
Yeah. Under control? No. Out of control.
Zero control.
Yeah.
Literally lost.
Yeah. Which I like, because I like when Stefan's off the rails.
I do like Stefan off the rails, but it's still too tortured right now. We need it further.
Yeah.
The next one's fun, though, so I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah. I do like the next one. But that's it for this episode. Episode 18, Under Control. Mm-hmm. Things are not under control.
No.
But the deaths were under control because we only had one, which, we're going to count because I want to know who dies the most.
Yeah.
But, Damon kills John Gilbert, but he comes back. So it barely counts.
Yeah, classic neck snap. I love a neck snap.
Yeah, I do love a good, quick.
Yeah. So that's the only death. He comes back, though. So I don't think he dies again, though. But
no, I don't think so.
Well, before the last one.
Well, yeah, I mean, in his,
But you know who we got? A lot of returning faces on our out of pockets moments, I believe.
Always.
I have 3 like pretty strong nominees.
Yeah.
The regular reoccurring act, Kelly Donovan, making out with Tyler Lockwood was pretty out of pocket.
Yeah.
Mayor Lockwood slapping Tyler Lockwood. Lots of offenses on Tyler in this episode.
Yeah.
And then my last one was also Stefan smearing the blood around Kelly's face. Those were my out of pockets.
Yeah, I didn't include Mayor Lockwood because I thought it was a little too serious.
It's almost too far.
Yeah, I thought it was a little too serious.
It's just child abuse at that point.
Yes, but I had both Kelly for making out with Tyler, Tyler for making out with Kelly, both out of pocket. And then I did think Stefan was also out of pocket. But they were all pretty equally out of pocket for me.
I would almost say Kelly is the worst because Mayor Lockwood, again, you're just abusing your child at that point.
Not good.
Stefan is battling a serious addiction. So it's like, it's funny, it's a little out of pocket, but like in a real sense, he's struggling. Kelly's just making out with a teenager at a party.
Maybe that's too serious for being out of pocket. I don't know. It's not great.
I don't know, but
Tyler's also drinking. Maybe it's Tyler. I don't know.
I don't know. I'd go Kelly just because she's always.
I think Kelly. She's
always
pretty
out of pocket. I think this is like the 3rd time she's won.
Yeah.
So
it's probably Kelly.
Good job, Kelly, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't think we see her again for like a long time though.
Yeah, she does leave after this. Yeah. Of course, obviously.
She always does.
Yeah. But for quote, there were a lot of great Damon lines that I really liked. And just all the dialogue was pretty good. Mm-hmm. But the quote that really stood out to me is when Damon goes over to Elena's and after she calls him and Damon says, "You ask, I come. I'm easy like that."
I love that line so much.
It's so good.
That one's definitely my favorite too. So I think that's the winner. But I did have 4 Damon ones written down, so I'll sample some for you. I really like the last one that he says to Stefan, "We have a problem, Stefan." And when I say problem, I mean global crisis.
That's a good one too.
I thought that was pretty good. And then, have I entered an alternate dimension where Stefan is fun? It's a pretty good one.
That's also a great one.
And of course, no, Elena, I will not go to your bedroom with you.
Yeah, that one is good too. Yeah.
But you ask, I come, I'm easy like that is the best one.
I really like that one. Yeah.
So
we can call it that one.
Another Damon quote is the winner for that. Now, we've got a spicy round of song of the episode. We've had some dry choices the last few, but since Stefan compelled that DJ, we've got some real options for song of the episode. I have 2 honorable mentions and a clear winner for me.
I have 1 honorable mention and 1 clear winner.
Ooh, interesting.
Yes.
We never agree.
I know.
Worried.
I don't know if we're going to align.
I'm worried. Okay, who goes first?
You go. You have more. So you go.
So I don't think you're going to say this one, so I'll say it as an honorable mention is, does this mean you're moving on by the Airborne Toxic event?
Okay, I did think about making that an honorable mention, so maybe it is an honorable mention for me. because I love that they always use songs by the Airborne Toxic Event.
They
do like
lot.
them.
I know. I love their music.
Yeah.
And they use another song off this album, really notably in season 2 with Catherine.
Yes.
So I really like this one. This is when Damon tells Stefan about the council and killing John.
Yeah.
So I love that song. So I had to give it
It's a good honorable mention. Yeah.
Yeah. And then my other honorable mention is 1901.
Oh,
I knew it. I knew it. We always are reversed.
Of course.
1901 Phoenix, which was right when Stefan compels the DJ. That was my honorable mention.
Yes.
Sounds like that was your winner.
That was my winner, and I assume my honorable mention, your winner, was Brick by Boring Brick by Paramore.
Yes.
Okay, I'm willing to give it to Brick by Boring Brick because that song plays both when Damon is talking to Elena and they have the little moment with the rose.
Yeah.
And when Damon just snaps John Gilbert's neck.
Yeah.
So just like because of the scenes that it's set to, I'm willing to go with Brick by Boring Brick.
Yeah. I just felt like, I felt like that song soundtracked the moment better.
Yeah.
And like 1901 to me, I mean, not that Brick by Boring Brick is even really a Vampire Diaries song in my head, but 1901 definitely isn't. Like when it started playing, I was like,
no,
this isn't
too many
Vampire Diaries,
other
so
associations. I think that's fair.
Yeah. And Brick by Boring Brick too is like a classic Paramore song, so I don't necessarily associate it, but it soundtracks the moment of killing John so well. It works
really well.
It fits really well, and it will go beautifully in our playlist.
That's true.
That's the other motivator there.
Yeah. I'm willing to give it to Brick by Boring Brick.
Okay, great. We'll give it to Paramore. Brick by Boring Brick will be added to our Song of the Episode playlist. We have a playlist on Spotify. It's linked in all of our various bios where we add a song from every single episode, the best song. So you can check that out. You can also find our Instagram and our TikTok at the Rippah Diaries podcast, where we post fun memes, clips, etc., edits, and things. You can follow us there.
And you can listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and you can watch the video version of this podcast on YouTube. That's it for this week. We post every Thursday, so you can catch the next episode, episode 19, Miss Mystic Falls,
finally
next Thursday.
Yes.
I don't think we have to even give a little description of Miss Mystic Falls.
No introduction needed. So ready for that one.
Yeah, so that'll be a great one. So tune in next Thursday.
Yeah. Thanks for watching and or listening to this one. We'll see you next time.
Bye.